And good evening. Welcome to Outside the Box here on a Monday night. Yeah, a new platform and just can't stop sending us stuff over the air. Just waiting for Tony to show up here and Tammy as well. So always fun getting on, but hey, that's just the way it goes on live radio. And we have a brand new chat room for those that are wondering. I'm just going to get you guys, you can get it to the chat room at www.syncrenicity.com/chat/. It's syncrenicity.com/chat/. That'll get you on to, oh, there, we got everybody here now. Awesome. Okay, there's Tony. And that must be Tammy. Or is that you, Tammy? Hello.
It is.
On.
It is. Hey. Sorry, I had it muted out.
Oh, no worries. I thought you were going to Skype in. No worries.
Hi, Tammy.
Hi, how are you?
Not too bad, darling. Yourself?
I'm well. Things have been really exciting for a while here, and I think we're just leading up to the end phase or end game of Revelation. It's been absolutely amazing.
So right, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely can feel that standing wave ready to give any second. Never mind any day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, we're all feeling the same thing.
Yeah.
No, it's just
beautiful, Kate. Everything is just coming together all at the same time, and it's profound. It's overwhelming, and I've just been in awe, and it's something I never imagined we'd be witnessing what we're witnessing now.
Well, you're seeing the convergences as well, That's one of the things I'm asking others to have a look at, because when you're observing things from a stand back observer viewpoint, like you're not looking at one specific thing of what one individual or one group is doing. You're looking back and seeing what everybody is doing collectively, and you can see the pincers just closing in on the system. It's awesome.
Absolutely. House of Cards is just crumbling. They were built on color. And what happens when you imagine something, it just disappears when it's no longer believed or adhered to, and it's absolutely profound. Everything is based on color of law, imaginary creations of you name it, and it's a house of cards. It's just toppling, and it's something so amazing to witness.
Yeah, you can see the system's reaction to it. It's quite fun to watch, and you can see them pull out the stops, and it's almost laughable. I mean, there's the February 3rd thing with the Super Bowl coming down. And of course, that's the February 3rd is the day the music died with Buddy Holly, Big Bopper, and Richie Valens back in 1959. And you know what these guys are like with the rituals, and they like
absolutely.
In that same vein. So things leading up to the Super Bowl, I mean, they were doing that with the London Olympics, and of course there was supposed to be based on the Illuminati playing cards, with Big Ben falling and flames and disaster and everything else. It was just one of those things that never came to fruition. And what's happening now is people are observing the pre-sent. They're seeing what has already been sent. And I know we get into pretty heady discussions here on Outside the Box and, with Syncretism with Santo and Tony's Cosmic Blueprints. We don't pull any punches, because we're looking. Listen, you're not going to find the answers in the normal way. You're not going to find them going to the library and reading from someone else's creation. The only way you're going to understand anything is to be the neutral observer and absorb as much information from as many places as possible. And that's the only way you're going to get any sort of a subjective or objective viewpoint. That's just my opinion, though.
Absolutely, just basic relativity, and their greatest downfall was they were relying on television programming. How many people turn off their television? Here's prescriptive programming. Prescriptive programming is when you combine the television programming with prescription medication to allow the victim of the programming to be programmed at a much quicker or faster rate. And here, they're shunning Big Farm. They're shunning the television. They're no longer being programmed, and it's absolutely amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Nobody's buying into this. They're not behaving as a consumptive good. They're not behaving as the commercial unit any longer. They're observing reality all by themselves. For years, television programming would tell the sheeple, this is what's going on, this is what's going on. And not once did anybody look around and say, well, wait a second, it's not happening with me. It's not happening with my neighbor. It's not happening in my community. I don't see this happening except for within television programming telling me this is happening. Finally, thank God, everybody's looking around and actually observing their own relativity. They're relative. They're being. And it's so amazing. That's when the house topples. The Whore of Babylon has the title on its forehead, the law merchant, the attorneys, these pseudo-females, pseudo-Jews, whatever false flag they're throwing at us, they've been outed. There is no more. They were so top-heavy. Everything was bought and paid for and reliant on predictability. When the human being is no longer behaving in a predetermined outcome or a predetermined manner, you cannot predict them. And that was the downfall. You no longer can predict how these beings are going to behave because they're actually being. They're not subscribing to any titles. They're not subscribing to mom, dad, man, woman. They're not subscribing to these things. They're just dropping the title, and that's exactly what Jesus said. Divest yourself of everything that possesses you. Title is the number one thing that possesses everybody. We're all striving to be. I want to be this when I grow up. I want to be this. I want to be this. Hopefully someday I'll be this. And they stopped doing that. They realized, and they looked around, and they're like, wait a second, I'm already here. What the heck are we doing? And it's absolutely beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. The one comment you said there about being top-heavy, and that's what's been happening for so long, is their greed has made them top-heavy. And that was one of the ironies, of course, I call it irony, but one of the things that I noticed right away was the minute I decided to let system know that, with a claim of right, et cetera, that, no, I agree that, things need to be peaceful, lawful, truthful, and honorable. The very instant I did that, and I mean it, because the day they got my claim of right registered, that very night, there was a meeting, I guess a police board meeting. I got this directly from a reporter that was there. And my claim of right was the subject of the evening, and immediately afterwards I was tailed by cops. And these are the people that are supposed to be lawful. These are the people that are supposed to be, honorable, truthful. I will congratulate them. They've done a spectacular job in maintaining the corruption on this planet for the banking investors, where they've been selling out for, little pieces of this and little pieces of that, breadcrumbs and what have you. And they're doing quite a good job of keeping the corruption alive, but it's dead. And, they're, like my dad used to say, there's no point in beating a dead horse, right? It's not going to go anywhere. And
right, and it's back in our history, we were all everything. We knew everything. We weren't compartmentalized. We weren't specialized. We weren't retarded by specialty, and that's how they became so top-heavy. They have to pay 20 people to do what one of us could do. And that's what people need to realize. They're fearful of this government. This government is completely and absolutely compartmentalized. They have no idea what the other hand is doing. One doesn't know how to do the other's job, and so we snuck up on them. Here's a whole bunch of human beings that are actually being and realizing of what we are and what we're capable of and what our abilities are, and they're still scrambling around trying to pay 20 people to do what one of us does. It's guaranteed failure.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, Tony, a couple of points about last night with Clive, and just some of the things that he was talking about in terms of how many different areas he was covering. It was just in the medical, but there was a lot of other things coming in there. But he brought a ton of stuff to the fore last night.
Yeah, absolutely. Most of it was all the majority, as you said, medical. Yeah, it's just about people waking up, really. Um, Everybody's beginning to realise they've been completely lied to about everything. As you quite rightly pointed out, Clive's area is medicine, and boy, as he said himself, he's not a doctor. He's not an incredible genius in anything. He's just done some studying into medicine, and he's discovered all this stuff that's come out through his own efforts, and that's what we're all starting to do. Like you said, we're turning off the TV. We're not listening to the bullshit anymore. We're deciding to use our own brain cells instead of having them programmed for us. And just the tide has turned, and it's just a matter of the people getting wind of it. Really, I mean, a lot of the brighter sparks or the avatars are clicking on, and they're all looking around for somebody to tell them, what's going on, or actually getting off their arse and finding out themselves. There's a lot of people doing it right now, in all different areas, and they're taking the power back and trying to do it themselves.
Well, that's exactly what Tammy was saying with regards to, and we've been talking about this as well, not specializing. To me, a specialist is a fool in the way that they're only good at one thing. You're not much use to society if all you know how to do is fix a flat tire. You might want to do something else, right? So.
And they're still practicing. Remember, it's called practicing medicine and practicing law. They are not experts in anything. They practice on the human being. These contracts are through the Ethics Commission. Ethics is fee to kill the fee. And the FDA has these contracts to allow them to use human test subjects. This is what we're doing when we go in and we get a prescription. It's writing you before you can be. Prescription. When you're in court, you're being subscribed, superscribed, and inscribed. These are all writings on your soul. This is telling you what you can be, what you could be, what you should be, or what you could be eventually, not what you are. These are prescriptions. Stop taking them. This is telling what you are before you are. And combined with television programming, you are being programmed to be what they need you to be according to a politically correct society. We are human beings. We are not politics. We are not to be politically correct. We are to be human beings, just in the state of being, free.
That's why you and I get along, just like that. It's all in the wordplay, and this has been probably, for me, the most revealing of all, and actually seeing what it is we have been saying all along. The key words that would come up, let's go back a couple of years, but a few of my favorites still stick out. Word like, would you rather have a sitting judge or a presiding judge? They're telling you right up front. And, were people listening? Were people paying attention? Well, they are now. And that's the difference. And you hit the nail on the head. It's that predictability aspect. As soon as you're not predictable anymore, that's when you become the virus in the program. And what's happening now is that there are more viral entities within this program that it's like a cancer, a truth cancer, if you will, where we are finally the infestation of truth that is going through this machine, whatever you want to call it, this paradigm that we're in, and it's busting it at the seams. And I think one of the biggest things it's doing is the fact that people are finally turning their TVs off, and you can look at the ratings with CNN and the rest of the meat stick media, what they're doing, and it's a crock. It's like talking to people about what's going on overseas, say, Iraq or Iran or all the rest of it, and you get these people with opinions, well, we need to do this and that and the other, and I said, well, okay, you've been there. Well, no. Well, where are you getting your information? Well, CNN. I said, well, shut up. Tell you what, why don't you get on a plane, go over, see for yourself what's really going on, instead of hating someone you've never met and trying to, get an opinion on a situation you've never seen or experienced, And that whole paradigm is changing as well.
Absolutely, and they don't realize that within patriotism, that means they're calling somebody else their father, padre. Religious construct is to patronize something in exchange for protection. Democratic theory is to patronize something in exchange for protection. Stockholm Syndrome is to patronize a captor in exchange for protection. What is the difference between democratic society? The word demo means people. Kratic means to control and possess. So a democracy is not a good thing. A republic is not a good thing. Do you want to be represented from who you are? Absolutely not. You don't want to be republic. And to be predictable, somebody's dictating to you who you are before you are. This is the theft of human potential. Potential comes before energy. When you can grab something at its potential and take it and tell it what to be, you have the on and off switch. You have it in your hand. Now everybody's getting out of this box and they're realizing this, and they're knowing their potential. Their energy is absolutely free-flowing. Their energy is unstoppable. It is perpetual. It is everlasting. And people don't realize this yet because they've been prescribed, predicted. They have dictionaries. They're reading dictation, dictatorship.
You are lighting up my dictionary mind right now with all these beautiful words. When you said democracy, going from democracy to republic in terms of, let's use
censorship.
Hello. It's gone a bit quiet there. Can you hear me, Tommy? Okay. For some reason, somebody's lost connection there, guys. I'm not sure exactly who it is or why, but interesting, nonetheless. I'm just trying to think if somebody can actually let me know in the tab here whether they can hear anything. Hear me, guys?
I can hear you. I think we lost Kate.
Right. Okay. Yep. Brilliant. I see. At least I know what's going on anyway. Yeah, I think we did lose Kate, but yeah, and like I said, there's lots of good stuff going on, Tammy. Hopefully you forgive me. I was actually. Oh, you back? Are you?
Yeah, I've got to. It actually shut down the whole web page. I've got to bring the studio board back up. I don't even know how the hell I'm on the air right now, but whatever. I just lost it again. Okay, so if I get bumped, there's something hacking away at me here. Go ahead, guys. Carry on. Normal.
If it goes quiet, I'll carry on. So
Thank you.
This is beautiful. When you go back in time to these original, quote, philosophers, these were ideology. Democritus was the one that created and maintained it, the doctrine of atomism. Doctrine of atomism is to name all things down to its smallest iota. The minute you have a name with a nomenclature, the word nomenclature means to grasp something and give it a name or give it a law. So the minute you're named, you're taken away from everybody else that's just like you. You're segregated, you're separated, and at that point in time, the only thing they have to do to implement democratic theory is then to make you fear each other. If everything has a name and then perhaps a judge comes down from the top of a hill and he tells everybody, you're all killing each other and stealing each other's wives and asses, well, everybody goes into a state of fear. They're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that was happening. Well, I didn't either. I was here in relativity and I didn't know that was happening, but, this judge, he's wearing a robe, he tells me that we're hurting each other, and then he offers me protection. That's democratic theory. There's only a very specific means of implementing democratic theory, and that is doctrine of atomism, clear and present danger doctrine, and then all of a sudden you find yourself paying somebody to protect you. Okay? That's just tax, Leviticus. And it's just it's so profound what they've done. The ingenuity of it is absolutely perfect until now, because they were relying on the sheeple to maintain the sheeple and to believe all their crap and act according to color and imagination and television programming and all this other stuff. But it's so, like I said, it's just, we're walking through revelation. To reveal something is revelation. And what most people do not realize is that apocalypse means to bring forth from a hidden state. We are in the apocalypse. We are revealing them for what they are. They are marked by the marks on their hands, which is their actions. That's all we're doing. We're evidencing what they're doing, and they're being indicted. It's so amazing. It is something that I never, ever, ever thought that I'd be witness to.
Well, that makes a lot of us. I'm really, as far as this whole system movement, whatever the hell you want to call this. It's the unveiling of the apocalypse is what it is. I'm a relative newbie. My first quote game unquote was CRA, and taking them to task. That was back in I think 2003, 2004, because I had enough of somebody stealing from me, and I knew it was theft. And I did some research into Eldon Mormons, and that was really the intro for me into my own awakening. But I've really only, I pledged myself to universe and truth 3 years ago. Actually, January 13th was the third anniversary, so I'm 3 years in now. Relative newcomer in terms of a lot of the people out there. But I've been doing research my whole life, and everything that I had been doing, coincidentally, factored in everything I'm doing now to a level I would never have comprehended while I was doing the research I was doing. I was just fascinated with everything. Nothing, not one single thing could hold my attention. That's why I'm a diver. It's why I fly. It's why I do things. It's why, I used to anyway. Right now it's just basically trying to survive, but that's okay. The apocalypse is lifted. And every day, more and more people are awakening, and it's unstoppable. It is absolutely unstoppable. And pretty soon, it's not going to be so cool to be ignorant. It's not going to be cool to, hate your neighbor just because someone says you should. It's not going to be cool to play in this paradigm the way we have been playing, buying into the wars, the money and the garbage and the religions and all the rest of the crap that comes with it. These are all somebody else's constructs, not mine. They're not something I would build, certainly. The sooner we get rid of money, government, religion, the rest of it, the better. The sooner we can all get along and finally understand that at the end of the day, we all bleed red. That's the only thing we have in common, really. It's the one thing that takes us all back to source, We're all of the one consciousness. I was interesting, I want to share this. I had, when I was posting the links tonight, there's a Facebook page, let me get it right. I've got a few Facebook pages, Return of the Gods. And the picture at the top has a group of people looking up from the photograph into the camera, and I looked at every one of them, and I could have every one of their viewpoints. It was beautiful. I could be each and every one of them. It was so cool. It was the first time I ever experienced that. Are we there? Did I lose you guys?
I keep cutting out or something.
Oh yeah, I've got real quiet there. Tony, you still there?
I am indeed, yeah. I just grabbed the mic as it went quiet.
Okay, yeah, that dead air thing. You know what I'm like, right? Radio bitch, get on it!
They really don't like your truth, Kate. They hate your truth. Just keep speaking it. It irritates the piss out of them.
I know it does. And they've done everything in their power to hammer me down, and they still at it. I've spent the last 3-4 weeks under major energy attack. I've had a few discussions with people that are familiar with this kind of stuff, and it's lifted off in the last few days. The kind of stuff they bring up against those that are making a difference. One friend in particular, Patrice, she's been under that kind of attack for a very long time, given what she knows, and I've got to get her on the air again. There is so much that she has to share from such a beautiful perspective. Even with Aaron Swartz, that literally they say he committed suicide, but that for me was an energy murder. Whether it was assisted suicide or whether it was just mentally being driven to it with the same processes that I'm talking about. Either way, it's murder. And that this is why, we're at that. That's why I know we're winning, because when they get that desperate, where they have to resort to those kind of tools, knowing they can't touch you physically. Like they couldn't touch Aaron, and the only thing that they were afraid of was him getting cleared of everything. Which, of course, the people that were supposedly saying he had done something were actually saying no, he didn't, and none of the stuff got out, and they were quite satisfied, and no charges or anything, and it was the state that went after him. That's the government. That's the ones that are supposed to be, quote, protecting us. That patronizing thing you were talking about, Tammy.
Absolutely. And that's another issue that we're having to deal with, is all of these clean hands murders. And that's what this is. When you put enough pressure on a human being, and they end up committing suicide, or they're murdered by a government, which happens all the time. Nancy Schaefer was murdered by her own peers. You have George Zancon was murdered by his own peers, Bill Bowen, Jeff Cicelo. These are my brothers and sisters that have been doing this a long, long, long time, and they did not commit suicide. They did not commit suicide, or they did not die naturally. They were pushed to the limit. They were depressed. To press down upon is depressed. When people feel depressed, they're experiencing a reaction to what their government's doing to them. They don't need to treat this by medicating it or anything else. They need to get the government off of their ass. They need to stop blaming each other and realize where the depression is coming from, who's pushing on you. And they need to understand and comprehend clean hands doctrine. This is government. This is genocide. It's always been genocide. When you go to Stanton's site on stages of genocide, you'll see how it's affected. First they segregate us, then they classify us, they call us different names, we have different titles, and they pit us against each other. And the end result is that we go into denial. This can't happen in our country. Well, that is called cognitive dissonance. You're not able to believe what you see in front of your eyes, which is reality, and therefore you're going to fall back on the easier to believe, quote, truth. Their truth is all propaganda. It is all, every single bit of it is consensus reality, and people need to realize what's going on and hold them accountable for murder. Clean hands murder is still murder. Clean hands doctrine says that somebody can go around the back end and convince you to do this, or put enough pressure on you to do this or that. This is clean hands doctrine. Hold them accountable. Look to the one who's doing it. Look to the female who's doing it and pretending to be a female. Recently we had one of those. I was calling her my friend and everything else, and the whole time she was pretending to be a female, and here she is, a flaming dyed female in absolute ownership, a nutball. She's a complete nutcase walking around. She's pretending to be one of us, and she was an absolute joke. What are we doing? We're just accepting the consensus reality that she has vagina and breast, and therefore she must be female? Absolutely not. She has no female emotion. She has no empathy whatsoever. She's a psychopath. All she does is own people. What are we doing?
I was really hoping you were going to bring this up tonight, because this is a perspective that people need to see, and it's that the empathy and the compassion aspect of the feminine. Again, when you're speaking, this is how I see it. You're not speaking of sex. You are speaking of a gendered mentality in terms of what you have engendered into yourself, or what you are, not what you are presenting to be. It's like I was saying last night. I'm going to get T-shirts made up. All I was going to say on it, beings like me, right? I just made your day interesting. I just broke your paradigm. I just made you think about something outside the box that you weren't quite ready for. I'm not, quote, normal, but there's nothing abnormal about me.
No, you're absolutely normal, and that's the thing. Jesus said you are known for your works and actions. Now, are you a psychopath? Hell no. Are you a female?
Hell yeah.
Yes. This is what you are. You act it. It's not you're not presenting a lie. You're presenting nothing but the truth.
By your actions, you shall be known.
Absolutely, and that's what Jesus said. We're known for your works and actions. You are who you are. You're not pretending to be something you're not. And I know you to have the utmost empathy, the utmost compassion for your fellow human beings. You are a female. Don't ever, ever, ever doubt that or let anybody let you doubt that.
No, the voice just throws them off, that's all.
Yeah. And like I said, in the last 13 years since I've been doing this, I've run into so many that are all doctored up. They've got tattooed lipstick and tattooed eyeliner, and they're all cheesy and in these tight clothes and showing off their breasts and ass and whatever else. They're pretending to be a female. They're so out there. It's like, you know, in any other biology, it's the male who ruffles up his tail feathers. It's the male who actually attracts the female. And we've got it so backwards now that we're purchasing this Barbie doll image that she's nothing. She's not with anything. That's what Jesus maintained as sin. Sin means without. She is without human emotion, without compassion. And who is it? David Icke talks about the alien all the time. She is the alien. She has nothing to do with humanity whatsoever. She's not human. To be human, you have to have human emotion.
Yeah, you have to have that compassion aspect within you. And given, you know, the histories that we have uncovered, you know, working with people like Kevin Annett and many others in this expose field, David Icke and the rest that are, I mean, especially David. I mean, you go back, he's one of the early guys that really went out on a limb to expose a lot of things that, you know, he got ridiculed for early on. You know, and now look at what he's doing. You know, it's amazing how things turn around. And you're absolutely right. These entities, creatures, whatever you want to call them, they lack the emotion because a true human would not let a child suffer. A true human would not, you know, plan wars like a chess game where they sit back and watch the mayhem and know that they'll never have to, quote, suffer what they're doing. But again, they're not even feeling it. All they're seeing is what they can get in power, control, and ownership. And that is the big one, ownership. And here's the thing, guys. You don't own the thing. You don't. I mean, here's, you want the proof of it. That body, your meat stick you're walking around in, you'll own it for anywhere from 80 to, depending, you know, 100, 150 years, who knows, depending on what gets uncovered in the next few months. And I know there's a lot of neat things coming out. But you don't own that body. And quite frankly, I don't know if you caught wind of my Invocation of the Cross document, where, you know, the body is created by mom and dad, right? That they're the beneficiary and fiduciary, not you. You're the fruit of their labor. So everything, you're right, everything's backwards. It's all backwards. And I've been looking in a backwards mirror for a lifetime, so maybe I just had a bit of an advantage in that regard. But I've always thought this place was just backwards.
It is. We're the only biology where mom stays at home in the home and whatever else is all these titles. We're completely backwards. You know, we've got females attracted to cars and houses. We've got males that are attracted to plastic and you know, it's absolutely backwards. And it's terrifying because when we are actually in our natural state, we're attracted by frequency. We're attracted to each other's scent. It has nothing to do with the visual aspect whatsoever, and it's so profound to watch this society and watch how they behave like cattle going through a cattle chute. You know, a while back, I commented on you know, I had to go to Walmart, and that place is just you can watch the cattle. They walk down the rows. They're walking and walking and walking. They're doing this thing, and it's just like watching cattle on a feedlot. You know, and we've got to get out of this mentality of being subscribed, inscribed, superscribed, prescribed, predetermined, dictated to, understanding others. That's one word that irritates me the most, is understanding. We're not to understand those types. We're not to understand the psychopath. The psychopath has been protected by politically correct society. The psychopath is the PC model. That is the politically correct human. It's good for politics. It is not good for humanity. It is a detriment to humanity.
Well, absolutely, I agree. You know, I'm just keeping an eye on the chat room here, which is so beautiful to have. We didn't have that for the first two shows. Yeah, what was, Patrice had said something, why is it so difficult for some people to have an honest dialogue, conduct honest dealings, keep one's word? And then, like, what is your intention? And of course, I speak about that all the time. Intention is where it's at, because before any action is committed to, the intention had to be there. It's as simple as deciding to pick up a pen to sign your name. The intention to do that had to be pre-sent before the action could have been performed. So again, it's about changing our intentions. And one of the things that I've been trying to get across to people, whether it does and I'm trying to get people out of this physical mentality, right? This is where I live. Get them out of the physical, and something as simple as taking your red pen. Got one in my hand, and I have one with me all the time. And say you get one of those Fed Reserve notes, or that the new plastic Canadian money, or whatever the hell they call that stuff. But take the time to have the intention to box the signatures on that note. Now, whether it does anything in the physical sense is irrelevant. What you've just done is you've changed the universal paradigm in your own mind, because that's where the change begins. And you've heard the saying so many times, be the change you want to see. And that's all this is. This is a baby step into start to be that change you want to see. And there's no commitment to it. There's no danger. Some people say, well, your DNA, yeah, yours and 5,000 other people's DNA. Please. And this is the fear paradigm that people have gotten into, that they're at a point where they're afraid to do something in case I guarantee you, everything we do every day somewhere is illegal. So I'm looking at I'm waiting for the law to come out and say, well, it's now illegal to breathe, and there is a breath tax. Is that what it's going to take to wake people up? It won't get there.
They are selling oxygen and oxygen bars in all parts of the globe. And the other thing that is most profound and most people are probably not aware of, although they've done it, is that people are buying time. They're buying time in the courts. They're playing under statutes in order to buy time. Stop buying time. It's not for sale. And we need to get out of this mindset. You don't need to buy time by something that says they're your authority. They have absolutely no authority. Those things that are legal are not lawful. There's such a disparate interpretation of legal and lawful. An attorney has determined when life begins and ends. And now we have legal abortion. We have legalized murder. This is legally sanctioned by an attorney. We need to get out of this. We're the only biology that kills our offspring. We have different variations on legalized murder called neonaticide. Mom's not charged with neonaticide usually. Up to a year old, these psychopathic females can kill their infants and not be penalized for this. We're the only biology that does this. Besides the desert goby has children, and the minute they're born, when the offspring are born, the male kills the female so that she won't kill the offspring. We don't do that in this society. We look at her, we start specializing her. Oh, she's got postpartum depression. Oh, my goodness, she had a horrible childhood, and that's why she murdered her child. Excuse me, she's murdered a child. Enough is enough. We're accepting things that, this goes beyond anything that I could have ever imagined. We're allowing legalized murder, attorney-sanctioned murder, to the profit of attorneys.
Yeah, and it really comes down from the fact that we have another form of heavy-duty legalized murder, and they call it war. Where one government of one nation gets pissed off at another, and they decide to throw their people at each other with all manner of weapons, and of course the funding that goes into it, and the banks are making it on both sides, of course. Right down to the legalized murder of children, absolutely. And this is the thing: we've been duped drip by drip, desensitized. You can take these video games where, like Call of Duty or these other ones, where you could spend hours and hours and hours on a video game. Okay, it's only on screen, but it doesn't matter. It's still the intention, right? Of people getting slaughtered wholesale. with all manner of different weapons, where kids, especially kids that are playing these games, get desensitized to it. So when they see something like that that's real on TV, they have a cognitive dissonance in that regard, and that they can't see or understand the difference. And that's where we've gotten to, and thankfully we're on our way back from that. We got down pretty low.
Absolutely. And that was part of the prescriptive programming and predictive programming. Dehumanizing each other. People can look at their brothers and sisters and think, well, he's just an Islamic, or he's just a Jew, or whatever else. These concepts are indoctrinated into people so that they turn from their brothers and sisters. This is enough is enough. You're being patriotic. You're calling something your father. You were told not to do this. Why are you calling something your father and killing your brothers and sisters on its behalf? And that's the question that's asked of me so often. Well, and they'll come to me and they'll say, well, we can't do anything because they have all the guns. You are the gun. You are the patriot. You are in that military. You are patronizing this thing that's killing you, your brothers, your sisters, your children, your mothers and your fathers. You are the patriot behind that weapon. Put the weapon down. Stop patronizing this thing.
Yeah, like we're doing, ramping up. I was on with Tyler Davenport last night, and he brought a lot of things to the fore on this. This whole ramping up of the Second Amendment, gun control and all the rest of it. And of course, all that does, I see it in the mirror. All that does is it makes people fearful that they're quote going to lose their guns. They just go out and buy more and more and more, and it keeps people trapped in that kill, be killed mentality. And that's exactly what system wants. The best thing that could happen is for people to stop buying these bloody things and watch the gun manufacturers collapse. What we have to stop doing is picking up the guns because someone else says it's cool to do so and point them at other human beings and kill them. Because I don't care if you're in the military or not. If you point a gun at someone... go ahead, Tam.
Look at the entire Civil War. Civil War, they called it. This was implemented by the Confederates, the League of Nations, the same federal government that you have today. They were pitting us against each other so that they could take a hold in this country, so that they could own us. This is the same League of Nations that are doing this right now, the Board of Governors that are doing this right now. They called it a civil war, pitched it to us that we didn't like each other. Who made it lawful or legal to own a slave? Lawmakers. Did you or I? Hell no. Who took away our right to vote as females? It wasn't the male, it was a lawmaker. But we were pit against the males. We were told it was all big bad male doing this. I've never been a male. I've never been attacked by a male. Never. Never once. I was attempted on by an effeminate male. He had no male in him. He had no human compassion. He was, again, another psychopath created by the system. Charles Manson is created by the system. Jeffrey Dahmer is created by the system. John Wayne Gacy, created by the system. How do you create a psychopath? You treat them badly. You tell them what they are. You take away their self. You abuse them. You implement shock doctrine against them. This is what the separation of the spiritual and the temporal was with William I. When he separated the spiritual and the temporal, he designed that we were to be abused, viciously used and abused by those in power or those that we view in authority, so that we cannot find the self. This is how the system works. This is how it ticks, why it ticks. We have to be exposed to shock after shock after shock in order to rely on something to protect us, rather than getting rid of the thing that's shocking us.
Well, again, I tell people to stop flowing their energy, namely their volt or vote with the silent L, into an election. That's an electrical ion. What they're doing is they're feeding their energy towards that, and they're giving away their power. Literally, this is the spiritual temporal / the spirit that I like to speak of. And what they're doing is they're giving away their energy to another entity to do their bidding for them. And quite frankly, if someone does that, one, you're a slave. Two, you've got no right to bitch because you gave your power away. you need to actually get into the state of becoming an anarchist. That's
Absolutely.
one of the most beautiful words I've ever come across on all levels. And look what they did to it. They made it, oh, they're all a bunch of anarchists. You're damn right I am.
Absolutely. It means to give light. Christ comes from the word light, ark. It means to lead the leaderless. They have no leader. You're just light. You're exuding light. You know, and part of the shock doctrine is what they implemented against you as well. Based on your being, are you in the United States alone? 1 in 1,000 children born every day are gender assigned by the doctor the moment they're born. If they appear to have too large of a clitoris, they'll be called a male, or they'll whittle off part of the penis and call her or him a female. But they leave the being up to the parental influence. They don't leave it up to the child. And so we've got a lot of children that are not able to be. That's the first implementation of the shock doctrine itself. On top of that, you have males that are being circumcised the minute they're born. These are all shocks against humanity. We need to stop doing this and stop allowing this. 1 in 1,000 children are gender assigned at birth based on what the doctor believes that child should be based on an observation. Why are we allowing them to touch our children in that manner?
Oh, agreed. I mean, nature of my being, again, the research that you're what you're talking about and the research that I've done in that area alone, I got to tell you, it was some very hard research looking at things such as doctors deciding and what a child is, and then of course you have the physical hermaphrodite that actually has both genders, and they decide at birth what gender they want the child to be, and it's discussed with the parents, only to find out later, with these interviews with these individuals, that who they are. It was backwards to who they really are, and they've been living, right, like myself, in a veritable prison for a lifetime.
Right, because they didn't allow the child to determine what the child was. That's all it is. Leave the children alone. Let them find themselves, just like you found out. And I'm so sorry for the hell you went through, but your truth is absolutely beautiful. You know who you are. And
that I do. It took a long time to figure it out, but that I do. That took a lot of confront.
Right, and that's how it's perverted to the general populace. They have no idea what's going on. They're watching the media and they're thinking that this is oddity or whatever. No, this is predetermined outcomes. These doctors are molesting our children. They're taking them and altering them. And then you go into the other realms of human trafficking. We see so many in these beauty pageants and everything else. Are you aware that an agent is a child poacher? We have PETA that screams and screams and screams about whale poaching and seal poaching. They have no clue that right under our noses are these acting agents that are child poachers. Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. Are we surprised that our children are being preyed on by Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts? These are child poachers. They tell you this in their Boys and Girls Club International. They're a group of pedophiles poaching children. This has to stop.
Oh, yeah,
We're busy and we're not realizing of each other. We're not living out the self. We're turned from each other and pit against each other. We're not realizing what's going on right under our noses. These courts are involved in human trafficking. That is their only function, generating revenue on the back of the human family unit. In law, that family is called a commercial unit. When you break it apart, each individual is a commercial unit to be taken from, to be extrapolated. Enough is enough.
Yeah, and that's the mind-blowing part of it. There is absolutely no humanity in that whatsoever. And with my own experiences, of course, I have my own visuals of things that I've been through dealing with these parasites. That's all they are. They're robotic. The energy they give off is sickening. It's beyond sickening. Seriously, I got to tell you that ordeal I went through last March, and the different judges and what have you that were that I had to deal with, they were not of this world, and I scared the living shit out of every one of them. That was fun, but then I'm stubborn. I'm Irish.
You know your truth. You're not going to subscribe to them. You're not going to put yourself under their jurisdiction, or the dictatorship of law, jurisdiction. You know, stop subscribing. Stop standing under this thing. It has no authority whatsoever unless you consent to its authority.
Sorry, my mouse wasn't working there to answer you back. Absolutely, and that's the thing is there is no subscribing to any of their authority because I know who my authority is. It's me, and I know it is not my intention to harm anyone. That is exactly contrary to every ounce of my beingness. And the irony here is, had my family apart, here I am trying to do things for them based on the betterment for all, not just my own kids. I mean, I look at the planet as that's my family, and we're not going to get things solved on a worldwide basis until we start looking at it from a worldwide basis. Because what happens is people get into a very self-centered state, and they only concern themselves with their immediate family and very close associates. But that in and of itself is a divide and conquer.
Those are the rules of the game. Divide and conquer. Polarizes, pit us against each other, tell you that I'm weird, tell me that you're weird, and then we never get together to fight against who's telling us that we're weird. And it goes all the way back to the Garden of Eden and the perpetual question: who told you you were naked? Who told you you were naked? Who told you you were different? Who's telling you these things? Who told you you're not being? Who told you it was wrong to be who you are? And to strive to be something else. They have to implement shock. They have to do something so egregious whereby you are made a perpetual victim and you stand under them. Stop standing under them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You didn't hurt. Right. We don't hurt each other. Human beings don't hurt each other. Psychopaths do. Get rid of them. That's what Jesus was teaching. He was not teaching forgiveness. He taught forgiving your debtor. He said forgive debt. But for all those that harm children, be better that you have a millstone wrapped around your neck and you be tossed into the sea of commerce.
Yep, I'm with you there. No question whatsoever. And again, we've brought this up many times in the past. You've got my brain just firing on all cylinders here. I'm having a hard time keeping a straight line of thinking. I just forgot what I was going to say there. This is good. I need this. This is like right on the money, Tim. Thank you so much.
It's so horrifying what they've done, and for years, they, originally, when they first wanted to tax the heterosexual couple, they made marriage illegal back at Augustus Caesar. He made heterosexual marriage illegal so that we can enter into contract with the state. They're doing the same thing with homosexual couples now. They're pitting us against each other. They're saying, well, this is illegal. Well, at this point in time, everything is by intent. If you want to get married, that's your intentions. If you want to be with somebody, those are your intentions. Do not enter into contract with the state. We are not to buy rights from anybody. We are not to buy rights by legal process. Legal process maintains that you are a product being processed through the courts. Stop playing into it. This is a law merchant. The law merchant sells you law based on the implication of fear. Stop buying into it. Stop buying into it. And it's so ridiculous what they've taught and indoctrinated us to do and to perceive these priests that are perverting the Word of God, they've taught us that Jesus had maintained that gay is bad or homosexuality is bad. Have you ever read 1 Corinthians 13? Or
Yeah,
1 Corinthians?
Yeah. I know exactly where you're going here, and yeah, John was his favorite.
Right, and what did Jesus say about fornication? He said you can only fornicate by giving your body to the Lord God. You can only fornicate by giving your body over to the landlord and allowing something else to own you. A psychopath views human beings as objects to be owned. Do not give your body over to the court. Do not give your body over to another father. Your body is your body. It is God's body.
Absolutely, you were right. But I want to go back, revisit that word anarchy again. Again. You know what an anu is? ANU.
No.
Okay. Anu is the heart vortex. You'll find them everywhere. They are actually you have one in you. You are an anu. It's opposing vortices in the heart, which are both the male-female energies. Again, this goes back to pretty scientific information of blood imploding versus flowing. But the anu is, for lack of the easiest way to describe it is a heart. If you look, for example, at the Orion Nebula, it's the same structure that's in there that's producing stars. And it's Dan Wilton's some great work on exposing the anu there, and it's identical to the shape of the heart anu. So there you have the anarchy. So anu, arc, there's light. We are light. Ki, and ki is the Greek letter X as we know it. X marks the spot. Also the Chinese word ki, meaning life. Key that we have to unlock things. The layers are infinite. So when you understand what anu, archi is all about, that is where you return to the true source of consciousness. We are all of the one consciousness. And there are some that are hell-bent on keeping us away from that.
Absolutely. That's the only way they can generate revenue off of the human being, is to separate it from itself. Each body is a universe. If you look at it on a little bit larger scale than you've been taught to look at the body, you are a universe. And in that universe, you have the sun, you have everything that rotates around itself, blah, blah. I mean, it's so profound. If you enter yourself into a higher realm and you begin to ascend, all of their depressive means are to keep you lower on the level here, lower on the ground, lower down the ladder, whatever else. You need to start rising up. You need to ascend. Start lifting yourself up, lift each other up, because what they've done is they've retarded us by specialty. They've pushed us down. They've depressed us. They've compartmentalized our thoughts. We have just this little bit. They've taken away our train of thought and our ability to cognize. That's so disgusting, because if you look at the word cognize or cognomen, that means with knowledge I give. Who's giving you this knowledge? And is this knowledge or is this pedagogy? The treatise on education written by Rousseau is so profound. If you go into and read the treatise on education, you realize this is how to break the human being for dummies. The treatise on education explains so distinctly how profound it is that you are not your own author. You're not writing any of you. You're allowing somebody else to write you by teaching you what you should be, could be, ought to be, or otherwise would be at some point in time. This is a foundation of pedagogy, of education. Knowledge, absolute knowledge, comes from relativity. Go outside. Experience things for yourself. We've been taught that so many different concepts of happiness. Happiness in this society that's indoctrinated into us comes at the other end of duty and obligation. You're happy if you go to work 40 hours a week. You're happy if you have this thing or that thing or this car or this house. That is not actual happiness. That's the other end of duty and obligation. Who the hell gave you that duty and obligation? Well, somebody did. Somebody indoctrinated you that you need to earn the right to be. Stop earning the right to be. Just be.
And that's one of the things too, and one of the reasons why I love doing these shows as much as we do. I mean, we're pretty much on the air all the time, talking about the same things. The listeners, to me, are more important than what I'm doing, because what the listeners represent to me is that gathering of the consciousness, where there is that willingness for them, as well as myself, to become the self-made author. This is where people are finally changing, and it flows at me too, right? It goes both ways here. It gives us the ability to say, you know what, it's okay to be me. And I got to tell you, and I think I can speak for a lot of people, it's very difficult for many to step outside of that comfort zone, we'll call it, because nobody wants to be perceived as outside the box. That's why I call the show what I call it, because I'm definitely outside the box in more ways than one. So the thing is, when we have people coming, especially people like you, Tammy, coming on, I'm so glad you came on tonight. By the way, everyone, I gave you maybe 3-hour notice?
Yeah.
So, it's okay.
I know, it's great. This is what I'm saying. This is when I know people are really on fire, and the intent is pure. I mean, we have people, coming now, and we're reaching out because we're trying to get everyone to gather into this beautiful, force, and we will not be stopped. There's no question. I should mention on Wednesday we have Alfred Weber and Laura Eisenhower coming back again Wednesday night. So that's going to be again another unveiling of getting rid of this paradigm illusion that we think we're living in, and where we're going to start to see things as they really are. And the more things that we can reveal, i.e. lifting the apocalypse off of, the more certain we become as individuals, and the more certain we become as the authors of our own life, going, hey, wait a minute, they said this, but it's really that, so that makes them, oh yeah, liars. And that is where the paradigm shift, that's where I know it sounds kind of cruel, but you have to trust no one except yourself, your intuition, because it will tell you exactly, and it'll be the ones around you that resonate with you will be the ones you will know, because it is in that light that you will feel them first, and you'll be able to spot the dark ones very quickly, very quickly.
Absolutely, they don't share our frequency. You can feel them. They really are psychic vampires. They're vampires of energy. You can go near them, they just start drawing off of you. They don't give light. They're not able to. They are not light. And that's the most profound. We've been hearing all these years about Illuminati this, Illuminati this. Excuse me, but they're psychopaths. They have no light. If you read Dante's Divine Comedy, read that. It's absolutely profound, because he explains. And he describes these psychopaths. They just lay at the bottom level. They're never able to ascend because they have no feeling. They're nothing. And it goes back to Jesus. Sin is the Latin word for without. They are without everything. They have nothing in them. And it's so sad. But whatever floats their boat, they're going to do whatever they're going to do. I'm not going to tolerate it any longer.
Yeah, and again, it comes down to the free will choice. I mean, even these entities that are the vampires, as soulless and as devoid of light as they are, they still have the sentient ability to decide to change. Because you see, this is the thing about light. Light is available to all. It is down to the fundamental choice of the individual. And there we have the psychopaths and the energy vampires, parasites, whatever you want to call them, that have hit this comfort zone that they live in, and they have no will or desire to change, because they've gotten into that, and it's time to end it. They want that, that's fine, let them have it, literally.
and the easiest thing, and what they don't realize or comprehend, is that the easiest thing is actually what Jesus taught about repenting. To repent means to not do a thing again after you know that it's the wrong thing to do, or that it's harming somebody. And the worst judge of anybody is themselves. They've been taught always, because they're not able to be, they're seeking to be, they want to be, they think they should be, they could be. And what they're doing is they're judging themselves. They have to forgive themselves and then walk forward. Don't do that again. Once you know that you're harming somebody by your actions, Don't do it again. That's what repenting is. Don't do it again with intentions this time. If you've harmed somebody in innocence and you didn't realize that you were harming them or you didn't intend to harm them in the first place, forgive yourself, walk forward, and don't do it again. The rules are simple. The rules of ascension are so simple. The truth is so simple. It is. Follow the truth. Walk the truth. Walk the Word of God. That is what your word is. When the only way that you can own God is to teach him or her that they are not and that there should be something else. This is how they generate revenue off of our backs. They teach you that you are not God. You are the creator of all things. You create man in your own image each and every single day. What did Jesus say when they came up against them? Jesus said, God is not the God of the dead. He is the God of the living. And he was being so sarcastic against Moses, the judge. They had come to him and they said, well, how did he grant a writing of divorce? He must be magic. And Jesus said, God is not the God of the dead. God is the God of the living. He was asking the disciples, who the hell did Moses talk to up there on that hill? You know, and he was so angry. He was so angry. Jesus in Latin means your earth. It's G-E space S-U-I-S, your earth. This is you they're still crucifying. They crucify you by subscribing, prescribing, inscribing, superscribing, telling you what you should be. Stop listening. Use your own authority. Be relative.
Yeah, there's, again, you're not going to get any argument out of me. One of the things that I will steer people to, as I have many times and will in the past and will continue to do in the pre-sent now, for really beautiful understandings of what you're talking about, Tammy, go check out Bill Donahue. I got an email from him the other day, so I'm going to actually write him after the show, and I want to get him on the air. I mean, I've asked him a few times. I think that is likely going to happen now, which is beautiful. But Santo Bonacci, there's a reason why I hang out with Santo and Tony and the people I hang out with, you know, well-versed and like yourself. We're all on the same page there. And I love the way you put that. That's the first time I've heard anyone put it so succinctly, in that you are God and you're creating your man in your own image. So time to start recreating yourself. That was beautifully put. Thank you for that.
And that's the whole separation of the spiritual and the temporal. You were separated from your body. That allows you to be parted out. That allows you to be parted out and enfranchised and all this crap. Once you're separated and you're not able to be cognizant of who you are, what are you doing? You're recognizing yourself. Where's that word down? Recognizing. They're creating you, and again, it goes back to even the 1794 Patent Act. They're putting a patent on you because you are created by them. Stop allowing these titles. Stop accepting them. Stop holding on to them. When you start studying the law of copy hold and real property and all these things, you realize you are the real estate. You are the real property. You're holding on to a bunch of titles, but when you do that, you're drawing easements through that body. You're parting it out. But Jesus was so adamant about that one. He says, when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part is done away. It is so simple to put yourself back in your body. Stop holding on to their constitution. A constitution is something that something consists of. A vessel can be filled up by a constitution. These documents, they're filling you up. You're not filled up with your soul. You parted from your soul. Put your soul, the truth, what you are, your being, back inside of that vessel. It's not hard. Stand with your authority. Author yourself. It's all right here at everybody's fingertips. It's right here. Put the soul back in the body. Possession is 9/10 of the law.
And it's like you said, it's not difficult. The truth is very easy. And every time, here's a quick way for people to learn how to walk in the truth in a rapid fashion. Every time you think of doing something that may not necessarily be right, you will have the inkling and the tinge, but question yourself on it and make the right choice. And it's when you start walking on that path, the real truths start opening up. And I mean, that's what happened to me. I made a commitment with regards to system that as soon as my deal with the universe was simple. As soon as I found the truth, I pledged to stand in that truth, regardless of the cost. And the cost was probably a lot more than many could bear, and a lot less than some have had to go through. So, I mean, I don't consider myself special in any way. I've had a path to walk for sure, and all I'm trying to do is convey that to people. To share with them the mistakes that I've made and corrected. But I'll tell you that the biggest thing that changed for me was that absolute commitment to saying, no, I will walk in truth, regardless of what people think, because it's not, truth is a self-evident thing. It belongs to all. It's not my truth or your truth. Truth is. When you make that choice, when you make that, that's not an easy choice. I will say that because this world has us thinking in so many different ways. But when you do, such a weight lifts off you. I can't describe it. And again, the only other weight that you feel after that is the system becomes very apparent at how corrupt, how evil, how dark, and how heavy it is. But I'll tell you. Every time you'll want to do something, and this will probably resonate with everyone. You want to go and do something, but you have reservations about it. It almost feels like you're pushing against something, an energy or I call it the wall. So anytime I'm going to do something and I feel the resistance of that wall, that is the wall I push through, because I know that on the other side of it is exactly what I'm looking for, and it has never failed me.
And that's so sad when, and you've experienced this. You can go out into the society and any venue of commerce, and you can see people pretending to be. They're not realizing of their own beings anymore. They're not realizing of the self. And it's so sad. You can feel their energy is so sad. They're so dejected. They have been forsaken by the Father, and that's what happens when Jesus is on the cross. You feel forsaken because you're not aware that you're the Father. Put it back in you. Be the authority. Put everything back together as a whole. And again, when that which is perfect is come, then that which is imperfect is done away. You're no longer parted out. You're no longer contracted with this state being your daddy. You're no longer contracted with this or this being your daddy. You are the ultimate authority. And it's not hard to stand. All you have to do is rely on the truth. Believe in the truth. Trust the truth. And that's another thing that Jesus said, faith, hope, and charity. Faith begets hope and charity. Those are the only three laws that we need to follow. Faith, hope, and charity. And charity is the greatest of all. Charity stems, again, from the word arc. It's just light. Give light. Exude light. Glow light. Knowing your being. Knowing who you are. That's it. It's not difficult. Stop allowing them to name you. Stop allowing them to give you titles. If you hold on to these titles, then you're stuck in their system. Jesus said, divest yourself of all things that possess you. That includes their constitutional theories. That includes all their crap laws and statutes. Statutes are statements of compulsion. They're just dragging you around. The whole metaphor of Jesus' crucifixion, you have Pilate. What does a Pilate do? It pulls you around. It pulls around the little tugboat and it tells you where to go. It's a ship steerer. We're still being steered. Here in the United States, we have the Federal Emergency Management Act. We have Federal Emergency Management System run by governors. In law, the word for governor is gubernator novice. It's the ship steerer. When the governor calls out for states of emergency, he's referring to you. He is not fixing roads. He is not fixing roads. He's not fixing houses. He's not doing anything for Katrina victims or anything else. These states of emergency are pulling you around by tug. It's by piloting you. And that's how Jesus is crucified. You're still being crucified. Come down off that cross. Leave her. This is a matriarchal society. The dyke female, and it has nothing to do with gender, it has nothing to do with sexuality. The dyke female is a psychopath. This is a matriarchal society. And all of these kings and former things that everybody all knows about, these kings would go plunder this and plunder this. It was at the behest of these dyke females. The male mentality, he doesn't need anything. He could ride a bike to work. He doesn't need all this shit. He doesn't need all these toys. He does this at the behest of the dyke female. She wants. So he is given to her. The Ponzi schemes, all of these things. This is the dyke female behind that male, forcing his hand. Stop. Come out of her. This is why we have the law merchant. It needs to sell us laws for that person. She is fully specialized. Absolutely specialized. And if you look at the history of feminism, that political tool has been the destruction of every society since Greece, since Rome, since Sparta, since Nazi Germany.
Absolutely. It is the same structure, the same construct every single time. And I will say this, I'll give Tony the compliment. One of the, and Santo, and Peter, I mean, I'm so blessed that all the quote guys, unquote, that I get to work with are very, very much in touch with that compassionate, absolute female energy. That's why I get along with them.
Yes, because you're female. You are a natural female. Don't ever doubt that. I mean, I cannot explain to you how many pretend females are out there, and they look like Barbie, and they're absolutely psychopathic. The other day I was in an argument with somebody about Tiger Woods. Okay, so he was vilified for having an affair. She clubbed him in the head with a golf club. That would be attempted murder. That is attempted murder. But he was vilified because he had a penis. How the hell is attempted murder specialized over screwing around on somebody? Tell me how we're accepting.
Just going to say, good point. I mean, absolutely. It's, again, look at how skewed our society is where someone, and I mean, hey, given the guy's position of where he was, a good-looking guy, would have all manner of good-looking women throwing themselves at him, and it would only be a matter of time before, he'd collapse into it. And of course, they came out later with that whole sex addiction thing, which is just another excuse, as far as I'm concerned. You put a label on something, that's called absolution of responsibility. No, you did what you did, so just take it for that. But really good point there, Tammy.
Hello, are you there, Tim?
I'm here. I'm just double checking here. Got quiet there for a sec, didn't it? Oh, hang on. We must have lost. There you're back, Tammy. It looks like you dropped off and you're back.
Yep. Sorry about that. It was my phone, apparently.
That's all good. We got you. Yeah, it was a little bit of dead air thinking. I just said the point you were making about Tiger Woods. Beautiful example. And isn't it funny how we look at things in that way? You know, people will say, yeah, well, he deserved that for her to, swing a club at him. But in any other situation, that's attempted murder.
Absolutely. And it was the same thing with Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen has that show 2.5 Men. So he presents as an act or as an act, right? Everybody vilifies him, whatever. That's an act. His wife took a knife to him a couple of years ago, and she ended up getting a restraining order against him. Nobody realizes these things. Just because she appears like a female doesn't mean that she's a female. Has absolutely nothing to do with femininity. If somebody can take a golf club to another human being, that means that they're viewing that human being as an object. They are a psychopath. If somebody can take a knife to another human being, they are a psychopath. She's not female. Stop protecting her.
Oh, exactly. And people have got to lose that paradigm of, well, just because, like you were saying earlier, just because of boobs and vagina doesn't necessarily make you a female, and as much as just because someone has a penis doesn't make them male. It is the energy that they're conveying. And for me, it's all about, it's all about compassion. And that, to me, is the purest essence of all.
And empathy. You know, human emotion is what makes people human. And each and every year, 1,200 children are murdered or reported murdered by their mothers acting alone. And people aren't realizing what these, quote, females are doing. They are drowning them. My God, they're drowning them. They're beating them to death with bats. They're burning them with cigarettes. They're biting them in cannibalism. People are not aware that this is not the way it's supposed to be. Years ago, in what was it? Euripides wrote of Medea killing her children to get back at her husband in 438 BC. BC. They did not write about the Medea complex until the late 50s, early 60s in the UK. They've known this female exists. They've known this psychopath is here. They do not hold her accountable for a reason. She generates revenue. Killing children is very productive for the courts. Destroying children is very productive for the courts and policy. This is corporate policy. It is not law. There is no law enforcement. We are adhering to corporate policy based on the first and second corporate welfare theorem. We are the product allowing the corporations to be on welfare. This means that you are burdening the debt for the corporations and paying it off by the use of you, your spouses, your parents, your grandparents, and your children. The entire estate has been human trafficked by legal process. This is a mechanism. Each ism is a political tool. Feminism, masculism, Zionism, Islamism, Catholicism, Judaism, environmentalism, corporatism, individualism, racism, sexism, genderism, these are all political tools. When we are polarized from each other, they generate revenue off of our demise, off of our destruction. This is genocide. This is the action of clean hands genocide.
Yeah, that's where they get it. They get us to do it to ourselves. Tim, we're going to take a quick little break here. I'm going to throw on a plug for the station and throw on a tune for those that are looking to have a potty break. So I'm going to play our, radio mission jingle, and all I have in here are my tunes. So you're going to have to deal with my tunes for the next little while. So tell you what, I'll play. It's going to take 3 or 4 minutes here. So if anyone has to do potty break, then now is the time to do it. So I'm just going to bring up some jingle and a little bit of music, and we'll come back and wrap up. We'll have about 20 minutes after the break here. Okay, hon? Oh, we lost her. We lost Tammy again. All right. Well, I'll do the play here, and we'll get Tammy back on the line. So here we go.
CMR Critical Mass Radio is a completely non-profit station where the hosts pay to broadcast their shows. The mission of the station is to get as much information as possible out to people about the world we live in, to unite like-minded people, and to try to come up with workable solutions. If you agree with the work that we are doing, then please feel free to help us continue by making a donation on the webpage. CMR is for people who want answers, because now it is our turn.
Here's a little song I'm going to send out for you, Tammy. This one's for you. It's called Like an Angel. So A little over, well, not quite 4 minutes, so you got plenty of time for potty break. Those listening, this is a song called Like an Angel. And Tammy, this one's for you, baby.
Somewhere like a dream, your world washed over me and took me far away, so very far away. Made sense of all things wrong, gave hope where all was gone. What do I need to say, really need to say? Your eyes are all the words I need, wanting nothing in return. Your love is unconditionally. I have so much to learn. When I hold you in my arms, nothing seems to matter. I'll never let you get so far. Being there is what you do. When my world caved in around me, nothing through the smoke to see. There you were, still standing like an angel, holding on to me. Somehow you pulled me through, turned faith back into truth completely, so completely. Held strong when others ran, gave my heart a place to stand, and you saved me, more than saved me. Your eyes are all the words I need, wanting nothing in return. Your love is unconditionally. I have so much to learn. And when I hold you in my arms, nothing seems to matter. I'll never let you get so far. Being there is what you do. And when my world caved in around me, nothing through the smoke to see. There you were, still standing like an angel, holding on to me. When I hold you in my arms, nothing seems to matter. I'll never let you get so far. Being there is what you do. When my world caved in around me, nothing through the smoke to see. There you were, still standing like an angel, holding on to me.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, welcome back. Nice one, Tony. How you afford a professional singer, Kate? Well, that's because that's me. I'm cheap. Anyway, so Tammy and Tony, we got you guys there okay, yeah?
That was beautiful.
100%. Beautiful sounds, mate. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's what I do. It's what I'm supposed to be doing. But I kind of got sidetracked with this truth thing, so I'll get back to it when we get this planet solved. So help me get back to my music, please, guys. Let's solve this planet a bit quicker. That would be awesome.
You got me?
Yeah. No, it's a good thing, and there's lots more where that came from. Right now I'm just fighting to hold on to my musical archives that are stuck in a storage unit right now. A big thank you to Victoria for actually helping me out in covering my rental for this month. Yeah, $160 a month. So that was a beautiful gesture. Anyway, there you go. So we got ourselves, what, about 15, 20 minutes here? Let me see. What do we got? Oh, we still got 27 minutes. We got plenty of time to tear this system down. So let's get busy. So, Tony, jump in. You haven't said much tonight. What are your thoughts?
Well, I had my gas in night last night. I quite enjoyed sort of like giving it a bit of, you know, the old verbal, as it were. But, yeah, I thought I'd, you know, sit down and let you carry on with your thing tonight. But, you know, it's all cool. Great information. Brilliant to have you on board, Tammy. And, you know, looking forward to keeping it coming, you know.
Oh, yeah, and our website, Syncrenicity.com, is a meeting, greeting place for all things truthful, where everyone gets to retain their independence, yet have a hub to make sure that everyone can find everyone. And we're bringing as many people on board as we possibly can, so consider yourself welcome, Tammy. And there's a bunch of links that I want to get up there as well. I really want to get this website to the point where everyone goes there and it promotes everyone at the same time. So you become this beautiful collective, yet independent at the same time. So it's that within, so without, you know, trying to deal with the natural laws of the universe here.
Absolutely, that's the only requirement. I know as long as we're at our nature, there's no way that we can be owned any longer. And part of our nature is just drop the titles. Drop the titles. That's all it is. You know, even the last name, and you know, a lot of people, when they first hear about this, they're like, no, you're nuts. Well, your last name describes you. It's called a family name for a reason. That means your genus or family or subspecies of human. A last name, my maiden name is Erickson. There's others with Lars, son. There's others with Smith, indicating that they're a blacksmith or a silversmith. And what people don't realize is that's your new subspecies. That's how they have the patent on you. They have a patent only on the last name. It is not the proper name. And in this society of a constitution, you're not to be held to taint for corruption of blood or sins of the father. If you look at what they're actually doing under 18 U.S.C. 1342, they are holding you as a felon because you're assuming and using a fiction. The fiction is your last name. It's your genus. It describes what you are.
Yeah, and I spent a bit of time there going back through as to how it really came into play, especially through the birth certificate, using things like prima noctis, you know, first rights and stuff, where it could be assumed you might be related to someone in the crown. And again, it was the introduction of the family name by Eddie Longshanks to allow for easier, you know, what do they call that? The censor or census, either or. You know, the census, definitely knocked us senseless. But anyway, yeah, you lose the family name, it's game over for them. It's that simple. Did we lose Tammy again? Oh, we lost Tammy again. Don't be afraid to jump in, Tony. So I'm just waiting for Tammy to get back. She's apparently having some problems with her phone battery. So there she is. Yeah.
That's all cool. I was just typing away in the chat box there, giving a couple of bits of information out. While I've actually got the mic, instead of typing it, I could actually mention it. Guys, if there's many people out there that are listening that have some web skills that might be of use to us, we're looking for all sorts of different people with some skills or some maybe dedicate a couple of hours or something to actually help us out with all sorts of things from web design to graphics to media skills. It can be sound engineers, it can be anything, even transcribing some interviews. But yeah, if there's anybody who's out there that, you know, fancies a situation where they might want to muck in and help, we'd love to hear from you guys. You've got the chat room there. You know, please contact us. It'd be great. Thank you.
Absolutely. and that doesn't necessarily come down to just web skills. Things that are absolutely critical are things like promotionals and just helping us get the word out, because we're here as a voice, and we rely on you, the listener, to give us a reason to have that voice, and we're the ones digging the stuff up and getting the information from you guys. It comes in to us from everywhere. So it is definitely a team effort. I do want to mention also that this Saturday coming, 7 to 9 Eastern Standard Time, I have Kyler Davenport coming on, a gentleman that I was on a show with last night, with the same ideals that we're talking about right now. It's funny how this just synchronistically came together, where we're looking to create that beautiful, huge hub of independence, but we're together. So the thing is, the concept is simple, that we are all part of a collective, but each and every one of us is a leader independently. And that's what we need to be. We got to stop, like Tammy, what you've been saying, we got to stop playing follow the leader and becoming that, making the choices for ourselves.
Absolutely. Self-governing. And that's what, who was it who wrote Common Sense? My mind is off now. Is it the greatest patriotism is dissent? Be patriotic to yourself. And Jesus said the same thing. He says, have no father on earth. Do not call anybody else your father, not even me, Christ. Patronize yourself. That's all it is. Call yourself the Father. You are the Father. You are the Creator. Start walking as to your authority. If you're not in authority, somebody's your author. Do you want to be written, or do you want to be the writer? And there's the Book of the Dead, and there's the Book of Life. The Book of Life is a living book. You're always writing it as the author. You're writing it right now by being. Do you want to be in the Book of the Dead, or do you want to be in the Book of Life? There's only two options.
Perfect example. And that's it. And here's the bottom line. The good part, you get to choose. It's a tough choice, me or slave. And I will tell you, I'm sure, I know with Tony and others that I've talked to, it's probably resonating with you as well. As soon as you get into this headspace, as soon as you become yourself, really, it's about becoming yourself. Once you become yourself, and you are encountered by any of the Goonies or whatever, these dark entities, call them cops or judges or whatever, they are in fear of you. Don't kid yourself. I remember February 11th last year, the night they kidnapped me, at gunpoint no less, and I had 5, 6 cops were trying to give me, they had the nerve that night to go to my house, they'd probably give me a ticket for not having a license, or driving without a license. I just looked at them, you got stupid or what? Sorry. And they were standing there, and not one of them would come anywhere near me. I just looked at the piece of paper and said, "That's yours, guys. Have a great night." And I just walked right up to him. They're honestly, they're powerless, and they know it. This is what they're afraid of. They're afraid of us finding out that they're absolutely powerless. Just because they're packing a 9mm penis extension on their hip doesn't give them the right over you, because as soon as you understand what I'm talking about here, it will not get drawn on you, and if it is, they won't use it anyway. There are rules, guys.
Absolutely, and it gets even better. These entities are acting as to corporate policy. These are privateers, and all they're doing is they're out performing business deals. When you're stopped on the side of the road and they ask for your license to do business as the fiction, the first, middle, last name, you don't hand it to them. I do not have a license. I have not had a license to do business as a fiction for the last 3 years. I do have a fee schedule. If they like to transact business with me, I hand them my fee schedule. I am also a privateer. I am willing to contract with them, but my fees are a lot higher than theirs. And it's not going to be very beneficial for them to conduct business with me any longer. I am not to be taken into a court. I am not to be redistributed in any way. My business plan is a little bit different than theirs. But, and this is the neat part, this is their window of opportunity. With my fee schedule, they can transact with me all they want. It's just going to cost them a lot of money, more money than they're going to make by performing their original business plan as a privateer.
And that's the key to it, right there. It's who's holding the trump card. Are you going to give the right power to them, or are you going to hold that one back for the last card? And that's exactly what you're talking about, Tammy. And that is, again, we all have our own means of doing exactly what you're saying by taking back our authority. And I got to tell you guys, when you get into the heart space actually, when you get into that heart space, it literally pushes them back. They get scared real quick, and they go in. They're used to dealing with automatons, robotics, normal everyday slaves that don't mind giving up their life source because they don't know who they are, and that's their choice, and that's okay. It's not something I would do, having done it in the past and learned the error of my ways, right? And that's one of the claims I will make to people listening. The only difference between me and most people is I've made more mistakes than you. That's it. You learn from them. Absolutely.
And Tony was asking if I've ever collected on my fee schedule. They won't stop me. Since we came out with the fee schedule, I've been trying, but nobody will stop me. And they've been notified we have an ordinance of these states, which means this is my law. This is what you're doing. You've been privateering, and apparently you've been mistaken somehow, because there's an appearance here of mistaken identity. Mistaken identity. So I've already notified them that they've been stealing me, and they've been stealing the other United States of being, and that this isn't going to be tolerated. They have notice of our fee schedule. They have notice of our ordinance of the state. I've sent the E4 notice to every one of the federal government agencies, the Inspector Generals. I haven't had an argument, but so far they haven't wanted to enter into contract with me, which is great. If they want to, I'm right here. I just haven't been stopped yet.
Yeah, and they'll be giving up a few more Federal Reserve debt notes than the beginning, So, and with them, it's always got to be a heavy-handed side of the trade, right? They want the win. And one of the things too that one of the stunts they like to pull is making tickets affordable so that people aren't going to take the time off to go and fight them. So for me, that is even more dangerous because it keeps people stuck in the paradigm.
Absolutely, and the something you said about the debt note. I do not accept payment in debt notes. I only accept lawful money, which is gold or silver, and so that makes it harder too. I'm not condoning human trafficking in any manner, and so the Federal Reserve note is not a payment method that I will take. That debt note, the Federal Reserve note, is backed by this human being, and it allows human trafficking. Now, if they want to enter into contract with me, they will be required to pay me by gold or silver or lawful money. I do not take counterfeit money, which is the human being, as a negotiable instrument.
Perfect.
Now, they are responsible for human trafficking. The second they negotiate you in court, the court process is actually called negotiarum gestio. And what they're doing is they're negotiating you, the negotiable instrument. The minute you appear in front of a judge, you're appearing as a special deposit. That special deposit then is called commercial paper, and it's negotiated by QSIP number. This is human trafficking. That is the thing that backs the Federal Reserve note. That is capitalism. Capit means head. They're taking you, negotiating you. Now, the attorney is called negotiarum gestor. An attorney means to go to another landlord. And what they're doing is that this gestor is negotiating you with the judge. You believe that they're protecting you. They are preying on you.
Oh, absolutely.
They are preying.
Yeah, I've been saying that for a long time. It's like defense attorney, prosecuting attorney, they're both the same thing. They're both emptying the wallets. Best example I can give somebody is you got two farmers fighting over a cow. One farmer's pulling the head and the other one pulling the tail, and the two lawyers underneath milking it. And that's exactly what they're doing. A quick question here. Tammy had already answered that about ever collected using the fee schedule. The point is, it's not about collecting, it's about shutting these goons down. They don't come near her now. And that's exactly what you want. Because when you're in that position, one, you get finally the true sense of freedom and authority, and two, you have dismantled that one piece of their what used to be a seemingly impenetrable armor. I mean, we're finding chinks in the armor all over the place now. So, and no problem, White Knight, or was it White Tea Knight? Beautiful. Yeah. And again, it's so great to have a chat room. Thanks, Tony and Paul, for what you guys did today, putting this all together and getting us organized. It's been quite a flurry since Friday night's little episode. So this is a beautiful thing.
Absolutely, no more transport. No, absolutely no more transport. And that's the whole concept. The Department of Transportation stems directly from the British East Indian Trading Corporation. You're the thing that's traded. The British East Indian Trading Corporation flag became the United States of America flag. The United States of America is a word on the document called a style. You'll find the document in the Articles of Confederation. That is, to confederate or with federation is to establish a league. The League of Nations is who is trafficking you through a board of governors. You need to stop the board of governors. Stop pissing around with all these little people. Stop pissing around with your local government or local nation, which they're a foreign nation under this league. Start going after the right ones, which is the board of governors, the League of Nations. You will find that the League of Nations covenant wasn't put into force until 1924, but it refers back to the Annex. The Annex is the Articles of Confederation. They abrogated their contractual obligation under the Constitution. The actual Constitution is only Article 1 through Article 1, Section 9, Clause 3. In Clause 3, it clearly states no bill of attainder or ex post facto law shall be passed. This means end of document. This says nothing shall be done after this point in time, ex post facto. Everything else was designed by the League of Nations. Everything else was perverted by Congress or the idiots with transgression against you. You need to stop, look, and just go against them. The League of Nations has absolutely no authority. It's all by document. Go read the Articles of Confederation. Read the actual contract that they had. They were contracted in to represent you only as much as you needed or required for the general welfare of the United States, not the general welfare of the corporations, not the common defense of corporations. It was for the common defense and general welfare of the United States. You are the United States of being, all lowercase. It was not capitalized upon until the Articles of Confederation. That's where they capitalized on you, the United States. Hold them accountable. This is larceny by trick. This is larceny by trick and deception. This is larceny of property lost, mistaken, or delivered. Delivered. Now go to the rules of war. You're being held as a prisoner of war by corporations under Geneva Convention, 1929. Your, quote, government went bankrupt around that time. And what happens is that these corporations started coming in and finding you. You were lost again. They're finding you. Where did they find you at? Foundling hospitals. Go look at the establishment of what a hospital is. 1864 Geneva Convention. The Red Cross is a foundling hospital for prisoners of war. They find you. You walk in there. You give birth to a child. They're finding you. They're finding you and giving you a legal name, making you a franchise of the United States Incorporated. That's how you become a share of stock. Are you stock? Do you want to be a slave? Do you want to be stock in a corporation? Or do you want to say, oh, wait a second. It says here in the contract, Article 1 through Article 1, Section 9, Clause 3, that you don't have any of these rights. You've been freaking charging me for this shit and pledging me? Excuse me, I'm back. Now we need to handle this. We need to hold somebody accountable for this atrocity because for some freaking reason you thought it was perfectly okay to human traffic me, my grandma, my son, my mom, my sister, my children, and this will no longer be tolerated in any way, shape, or form. I'm sorry for what you're going through. I'm sorry that your attorney friend just killed you. I'm sorry that your prosecuting attorney friend just put you in prison forever. I'm sorry for this, but this is not on my head. You did the action. You perpetrated human trafficking, and you benefited off of this. There is no mercy for that.
No, there is no mercy, and those that by omission or commission of a crime are guilty. And that's the thing, and I make this very and abundantly clear anytime I send out emails. It's always, or any notes to anybody, it is about omission or commission of a crime. And what I like to do is to make them aware of it so that now they have they cannot claim ignorance, which is not a defense of the law anyway. But now what they're dealing with is willful ignorance after being given the facts. And that's where you really can sort out the parasites from the real ones. And my feeling has been for a very long time that this system will collapse itself from within, where enough people, because here's the thing, given the people that are in the, quote, legal profession, unquote, oh, by the way, professio means for to make weary, that's what a profession is. These people that are in vast numbers are not all malfeasance. And a lot of them are starting to wake up, and they're starting to resonate with the things that we've been talking about for a very long time. And they're waking up. This system will collapse itself from within. Without a doubt. There's no question. It's already happening.
Absolutely, and that's the requirement. That's our only obligation. All we're doing is revealing them. Let them have it each other. And that's what Jesus said. Let the dead bury their own dead. They're psychopaths. Psychopaths think in the dog-eat-dog mentality. The minute you reveal one of them, the others are going to jump on that and use that one as a fall guy. Because that one has so much information, especially in these circles of child pedophilia rings and these female pedophilia rings run by the United Nations, run by these matriarchal females. If you look at the United Nations report on human trafficking 2009, you will see that the most prolific sexual abuser and sex trafficker of females and children are other females. It's other females. And the UN has these numbers. These are the United Nations numbers. This is what they are bringing in. They are cashing in on all of us. Human trafficking. The UN has these numbers located in their report. It's a financial document. Everybody needs to be aware of what's going on. You know, we see the Cash for Kids scandal in Pennsylvania a couple of years ago. 2 judges pled guilty and were found guilty. What about the people that they were selling the children to? They did nothing to the juvenile justice system. They did nothing to the Catholic charities that they were putting the children into. They did nothing to the psychologists.
No, it's always about picking off one or two, scapegoats, as it were, where they don't bother going down to the root causes of it. And of course, religion has always been the root cause and the bane of humanity since its inception. Oh, we just lost Tammy again. Well, we got ourselves 3 minutes here, so we'll try to get Tammy back on, but I might as well do the quick wrap up here. I wanted to thank everyone for tuning in to Outside the Box tonight. Always a pleasure to be your host. For those that haven't heard me before, I'm Kate of Gaia. The voice is a little lower than you're expecting, and that's okay. Of course, co-host and host as well. Host, co-host doesn't matter. We're just the ones hanging out at the helm, and Tony and I have been doing this together for quite a while. Yes.
Indeed.
Yeah. So we bring completely opposite and equal viewpoints to the table. which is why I wouldn't say opposite. We just we come at things from very different perspectives. We always meet on the same road, which is very, very cool. I can't thank Tammy enough. I definitely I want to make Tammy a regular on Outside the Box because this kind of information, it really gets to the nitty-gritty and the core of the problem that we're having with humanity. And the problem is ours, guys. This is where we have to stand up and take accountability in our own mirrors. And Tammy said it so perfectly, that you are God. And I've said it, I don't know how many shows I've been saying this. You are God. Some cool guy, a lot of teachers, cool guy called Jesus, said that ye are gods, that you're light and all the rest of it. I just chose to actually take that verbatim, and because I know it's truth, it was self-evident and it resonated. So you are God, and you are creating God or man in your own image. So what image is it? Is it your image, or is it the manufacturing construct of somebody else? But I also didn't want to do a shout out to Paul and Critical Mass Radio for giving us this platform in our greatest time of need to keep this word going out, where we cannot and will not be silenced. The universe seems to deliver at rapid. Wow! How long was it, Tony? 10 hours?
Yeah, practically. Yeah, that's about smack on. Yeah. I put out a few feelers when we found out what was going on, and then within a few hours, like say 10 hours or so, we'd entered into discussions, and we got a brand new platform, and 7 days a week, not 2.
Yeah, beautiful. So, we got about 40 seconds here. Just let Tammy know. Sorry I talk so much. Tammy, you could talk all night. I just love sitting back listening to you, hon. But I want to make this a regular. We'll chat off here after the show, and I do want to make a regular doing of this. But don't forget, there might be a show tomorrow night. I haven't decided yet, but for sure Wednesday, Outside the Box with Alfred Weber and Laura Eisenhower, and of course Tony and myself. And hey, we might be able to get Santo to jump in with us as well. So much love to everyone out there. Thank you so much for being awake, because hey, you're listening. You must be. Much love to you guys. We'll catch you on the flip side tomorrow night. Thanks again, Tony. Everybody, good night.
God bless. Good night.